Evening, everyone. Declaration of tonight's ordinary council meeting. Declaration of opening is made at 5:30 p.m. Going a little bit away from the normal procedures. Just going to read a statement which I read last week, but it's important to read it again. The Shire President, that's myself, acknowledges the passing of former councillor Terry Little, who passed away on the 1st of June 2026. It's with great sadness that we acknowledge the passing of former Shire of Northam councillor Terry Little, who passed away on the 1st of June 2026. Terry first served on the Shire of Northam Council from May 1994 to June 2007 and played an important role in the 2007 amalgamation of the former town and shires of Northam. Throughout his years of service, Terry worked alongside current Shire President, myself, President Antonio, along with several elected members who are sitting around the table, including former Shire Presidents, Councillor Llewellyn, Councillor Antonio, DR Antonio, Councillor Shen and Councillor Pollard. Following the amalgamation, Terry continued his service as a councillor with the Shire of Northam from 2007 to 2021. During this time, he served as Deputy Shire President from 2013 to 2018 and made significant contributions to the community through his dedication, leadership and commitment to local government. Some of the major achievements and initiatives delivered during Terry's time on council include Wundarra Heritage Town status in 2011, development and adoption of the Wundarra Community Plan 2016-2026, advocated for investment in recreation and tourism infrastructure within the Wundarra area, the Wundarra Water Tank R project tanked in 2021, development of the Wundarra RV Friendly Park, ongoing community planning and investment associated with the western communities of the Shire following the amalgamation of the town and Shire of Northam in 2007, and Terry saw through the implementation and opening of major projects such as the Northern Aquatic Facility 2020 and Billy Court Project 2018. Outside of his role as councillor, Terry worked for many years with the Department of Fire and Emergency Services, DFES, and that was outlined during the funeral process, and it was fantastic and comprehensive work. In this role, Terry worked closely with local governments and volunteers across the region and was highly respected for his professionalism, knowledge and willingness to support others, and his contribution to emergency services and community safety left a lasting impact on many people throughout the week. The Shire of Northam extended sincere condolences to Kay, Terry's wife, Terry's family, friends, and all who had the privilege of working or volunteering alongside Terry. We acknowledge and thank Terry for his many years of dedicated service to the Shire and the wider community. Terry, may you rest in peace. So I'll start with opening procedures and say welcome everyone. That's the Shire councillors, the officers and members of the public. So 2.1 is acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to invite Councillor Minchelli to present the acknowledgement to country.
Thanks, Mr. President. The Shire of Northam acknowledges the continuing connection of Aboriginal people to country, culture and community, and embraces the vast Aboriginal cultural diversity throughout Australia on the land of the Ballardong Noongar and Whadjuk Noongar people. Where we meet, we acknowledge and pay respect to elders past, present and present.
Thank you, Councillor Minchelli. And just a reminder, if I didn't say at the start, this is an ordinary council meeting, so this is a decision-making meeting. We had the forum last week where we had question and answers, and we've got, before this meeting, we've got plenty of time to ask questions about this. So tonight, every item that's on the agenda before us, we need to make a decision on. And there's 2 points, or 3 points for the public where they can participate. So I'll guide the members of the public through that. That is the only time members of the public can participate in the meeting. Item 2.2 is recording of council meetings. Members of council and members of the gallery, that's members of the public, are advised that this meeting is being live streamed and it's audio recorded and it's made available on the Shire of Northam's YouTube channel. If members of the public would like to have access to the recording of this meeting, they can do so via the Shire of Northam website. Item 3 is attendees. First, we have the councillors. So I'll just welcome councillors as usual from left to right. We have Councillor Hughes, welcome. Councillor Mencelli, welcome. President Antonio, that's myself, I'm not going to welcome myself. Councillor Gierak, welcome. Councillor Ryan, welcome. Councillor Biglan, welcome. We have the staff or the officers, so I'll say welcome to all of those. So we have the Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Terrelink, Executive Manager Engineering Services, Mr. Devsich, Executive Manager Development and Community Services, Mr. Hunt, Executive Manager Corporate Services, Mr. Streets, Manager Governance and Risk, Ms. McCall, and Governance and Risk Officer, Ms. Blase. So welcome. 3.2 is apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Williams. So we move to page 8. So 3.2 is apologies. Move to page 8. 3.3 approved leave of absence is nil. 3.4 absent is nil. So then we move to page 9. So we have item number 4 is disclosure of interest. Disclosure of interests are made when a councillor has either a financial, that's direct or indirect, a proximity or an impartiality interest, which I'll read a summary of now, and as the item comes up, I'll read that again. Councillors are able to make the declaration as the item comes up before we make a decision. I believe all of them tonight are impartiality, so everyone will participate in the debates. So we have item name is reserve 43257 Garrigan Close Northam, that is item 13.1.3. The following councillors have declared impartiality in that item. That's President Antonio, that's myself, the neighbouring landowners are known to President Antonio. Councillor Mencelli has declared impartiality. The adjoining landowners are known to Councillor Mencelli. Councillor Biglan has declared impartiality. The adjoining landowners are known to Councillor Biglan. Councillor Gierak has declared impartiality. The adjoining landowners are known to Councillor Gierak as well. Item 14.1, that's behind closed doors, so I'll deal with that as we go. And then item 13.1.2 is Northern Airfield Management. Councillor Gierak has declared impartiality. Some members of the Northern Airfield Committee are known to Councillor Gierak. I believe that's all, but I will go through that as the item comes up as well.
I've got one 13.1.1.
Sorry, thank you, Councillor Biglan. 13.1.1. Did ask you to remind me. 13.1.1, that's another review Council Plan 2026 to 2036. Councillor Biglan has declared impartiality. Councillor Biglan is Secretary Treasurer of the Wollongong Progress Association, and that Progress Association is mentioned within the Council Plan. I think I've summarised that pretty well, so I'll keep that there. We go to page 11. So that's announcements by the presiding member. That's without discussion, so that is taken as read. And then we go to page 14. So item number 6 is public questions. This is one of the times the public can participate. I've had two pre-advised to us. So this one is from Ms. Balfour Cunningham of Northam. It's the question, it's regarding 8.1 petitions. Question subject is crypto mining data centre at 239 Millgun Ave. Question 1, what planning reasoning was relied upon by the delegated authority to determine that the cryptocurrency mining service centre / data centre at 239 Millgun Ave, Malabane constitutes a warehouse storage land use under local planning scheme number 6, including a conclusion that it that it accorded with the built form, scale and activity of a contemporary warehouse development. The response is this was previously responded to on the 22nd of April at the council meeting at that time. So the answer is in that question. Question 2 is what was the estimated development value stated in the development application for the cryptocurrency mining service centre / data centre at 239 Yilgarn at Malabane. Response to question 2 is the value of development applications submitted and assessed under delegated authority are not public information, as included in the Shire of Northern Delegated Authority Register. Shire staff are delegated to approve development applications with a value less than $7 million. A Freedom of Information application can be made for non-public information and will be considered according to the relevant legislation. That's 2 questions, but this is when I go to members of the gallery to see if there is any public questions. And if you do have one, can you please come up to that microphone, press the button, state your name and where you're from, and then lean into the microphone if you've got a question to make sure the public can hear it. I'll just see if there's any public questions. So the microphone's just up here at the table.
Oh.
And just, can you press the button to make it red? There's a big button there.
Okay.
And just state your name, where you're from, and then lean into the microphone, sorry, please.
My name's Peter Martin. I joined the new industrial site that's getting built out there. And I'm just inquiring about with this new data centre, noise and any visual pollution it's going to create. I don't know whether the council, have they looked into that, or has there been anything done?
Yeah, we did answer, obviously, I'll get the officers to answer. We did have that question asked prior about noise, but I'll just see if there's any, they've got to comply, basically they've got to comply during construction
just anything that we don't mind. We haven't opposed anything about the development as we're joining, and but we were never approached about this data centre. It was just going straight through, so.
Yeah, so their officers can probably answer better, but it's about noise, so.
Yeah, and so I think that question's been answered before in terms of that we'll have to, whatever development happens out there, we'll have to comply with environmental regulations. So yeah, in terms of the other question, in terms of notification that wasn't required to be advertised, I think that's been answered. Question that been answered before, but happy to have a conversation after the meeting or during the week to explain a bit more information about the development of the whole.
Yeah, Chad, is this a goer? Is it going to happen, or is it a feasibility just getting approval for it?
From our perspective, we've issued a development approval,
yeah.
And that's where it's at. It hasn't.
So, but it's not set cement. Not in concrete. It's not going to happen, or it's definitely going to happen, or.
I can't comment on that. Just from our perspective, we have issued a development approval. Haven't issued a permit or anything at this stage.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rodney Badger Rolfe. I live out there at Clackline. I did write a letter, a formal complaint on the 7th of May, and you actually received it, Chris Antonio. I thought you was the CEO, and it should have gone to the CEO. You passed it on to the CEO, Debbie Timlock, and the letter goes, I just had one piece of paper in the way. Formal complaint to Chris Antonio, CEO of the Shire of Northern. It has been 1 year now since I spoke to Pierce Lloyd being the Environmental Protection Officer, about paddock to plate. See copy of request. You know about this, and to date nothing has been done. I have received no phone calls, texts or mail concerning this. I believe the Shire has failed in its duty of care to me living next door to an illegal slaughter yard built without any planning permission and operating with no health food licence. None of the vehicles which are carrying the animals and meat are actually licensed by you. I'm talking of the Health Act. I am now writing to the Ombudsman concerning this, which I have. If I may, the Shire of Northam, information of food businesses. What are the powers of an authorised officer? We are talking of the Environmental Health Officer, who should check on these kind of things. I have put in 5 or 6 requests at the front desk of the Shire concerning this. I've always been, we're on to it. Nothing has ever happened. It has. Authorised officers are authorised under the Act to enter a food business for an inspection. Search any part of the food business. Inspect, measure, test, photograph or film any part of the place. Take samples, copy documents, bring any equipment and materials that are required with them. Require a person to help them. Question staff. Stop motor vehicles used as food businesses. Seize evidence. Destroy seized items. Require name and address. Require production of documents. To require information.
Sorry, Mr. Patches, have you got a question or did you want to make a statement? So
Well,
have you got a question?
My question is, what is the Shire of Northam doing about this?
Is it possible that any of the officers to answer that?
Yeah, we're aware of the complaint about the alleged business. Staff have been investigating. It's been an issue that's been ongoing for a number of months. I believe some staff have spoken to Mr. Rolfe and given him an update of where we're at. And again, also happy to arrange for a further discussion or meeting with Mr. Rolfe post this meeting to give him an update. It's an alleged issue at the moment.
I have had nothing in writing. I have received 1 phone call from the Shire concerning this.
So the answer is, so the officers will follow up with you. As it's a meeting, I dare say there will be, right, because they've asked a question at a public meeting, there will be a response in writing, and there will be a follow-up from the officers.
I have today delivered 99 photographs for their consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is further questions? Sorry.
Yes.
Officer Red Button, yeah.
So I'm Leslie from Buckland regarding the data centre, and I know this is an ongoing issue, may have been answered before. I want to know if any of you guys here who tick that approval box for that data centre, are you aware, is any of you aware, of the potential power usage and water usage that the centre may use? And if so, have you looked into it? Are you aware of it? Have you researched on other data centres and how much power and water these things use, the sound emissions and other emissions that it lets off, and the damage to the environmental there may be? And if you are aware, if you have done that research, if you haven't, are you going to? And if you have already, what will happen if and when we find out that it is going to use an awful amount of water or power or damage the environment?
Just the officers to answer that.
Thank you, yes. So just for clarification, the approval is for a warehouse to store crypto.
I understand that.
Sorry, excuse me, I'm responding to your question.
Yep.
Thank you. So it has been approved as a warehouse, and our understanding is that it is to store service for crypto mining. As has previously been advised in terms of water and power usage, we've offered to put you in contact with the applicant to discuss those matters. In terms of the noise regulations, I believe that the Executive Manager of Development Services has already responded to that question. Thank you.
Well, I don't think that was quite the question I asked. It was more if the Shire members have looked into or researched any other data centre facilities, whether it be crypto mining or otherwise.
My understanding is that the monitoring of usage of power and water is not a consideration under the planning legislation that we operate.
It's not a consideration by the council, do you mean?
The application was determined under delegation by officers, and it's not a requirement to be considered under the planning legislation.
So we just wait for it to happen and then deal with it if there's issues. Is that it?
Well, we've answered, we offered to put you in contact with the potential developers.
Well, I was sent a link to it,
Sorry.
but the link doesn't work.
So we'll make sure that we'll put you in contact with the applicants or the applicants.
Okay? So the Shire's blocking the hand, but okay.
Is there any further public questions?
I was wondering if I could ask a question on item 13.1.1, the council plan review.
Yes.
So I'm Amber, Balfour Cunningham from Northern. My question is the proposed council plan, which is on page 118 of agenda, it states on that page that priority project 9.1.2, as part of that, the Shire's planning and environment team will advocate for the state government to deliver utility infrastructure, including water, power, gas and telecommunications to support the development of the Yilgarn Ave light industrial area, which is also known as Avon West, from 2026 to 2030, with a legend indicating that resourcing or funding has been secured. Could the Shire please provide further details on what resourcing or funding has been secured, including the source, amount, purpose and any other conditions? I haven't said that final thing.
Yeah, sorry, I did get the officers to answer that.
Thank you. So this is an advocacy piece to develop the whole of Yilgarn Avenue, which is recognised in our local planning strategy for industrial development, and the project relates to advocating to the other tiers of government for funding support to provide the servicing and utility infrastructure required to support that development.
Yeah, sorry, maybe my question was a bit confusing. I understand what the thing is, but I'm talking about the symbols on the bottom of that page say whether or not that particular project has been funded, and my question was about that funding, not about the, what the purpose of that project is.
That will be conducted as business as usual.
What do you mean by that?
So the staff will be doing that advocacy as part of their business as usual.
Oh, okay.
roles.
So it's like in kind. Okay, yeah. No worries. Thanks.
Are there any further public questions?
As a piece of paper, do I give it to them? Well, we can talk about that. Really?
Any further public questions? No, so then we go to item number 7. We're on page 14. That's response to previous public questions taken on notice. That is nil. Item number 8 is petitions. There's 8.1.1. Council, you'll see this is new since last week. Petition for data centres. You'll see the officer's comment, and there's a recommendation on page 15. I'm just going to receive the petition, but I just need councillors to move the recommendation. Council. Yeah, we need it. Do we need the petition before we receive it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I believe there's a petition as per the agenda item that's being presented. Can you please pass it on to Councillor Hughes?
Yeah, what was, 15? Were you saying about something about 15? Everyone voted or something? What was it?
Page 15.
Page 15, what did they vote?
Recommendation.
Recommendation to receive it.
Oh, wait, sorry.
So just hand it to Councillor Hughes, that's fine.
Also, sorry, I did ask if I could, I'm going to ask if I could do a deputation about the petition as well.
That's coming up.
Oh, sweet, awesome, thank you so much.
So there's a recommendation on page 15 that we received. It's Councillor Mencheli has moved, Councillor Ryan has seconded. Anyone going to speak against? So all those in favour by show of hands? That's 6-0, that's carried. So the officers will act on that. Then we go to page 17, which is 8.2 presentations, which we do have one. So I'm pleased to have this presentation. So we went to an awards night on Friday night. So I'm going to present this award which we received. I'm going to present it to the officers, and I'm going to ask Mr. Devcich to come up to receive this one, because this is where recognition is due. So we have the Roadwise Council Award. Sorry, Mr. Devcich, I'm going to make you wait a minute. We've got the Roadwise Council Award 2026, Shire of Northern. So on Friday evening, I was delighted to accept a Roadwise Council Award for the Shire of Northern that was presented as part of the WALGA, that's West Australian Local Government Association, Local Government Awards evening for 2026. These awards acknowledge one Roadwise Council from each Roadwise recognised band who has demonstrated a shift towards intentional, forward-thinking road safety planning and action aligned with safe system principles. The Shire of Northern won the award for the Band 2 local government. The achievement strongly aligns with one of the priorities identified in our recent community survey, that being safety. Congratulations, particularly to the Shire's engineering services team, which is why I've asked the Executive Manager, Mr. Devcich, to come up, and all the Shire staff involved in this team effort. As Council knows, it's the officers that do all the work. So let's put our hands together for Mr. Devcich and his team and all the staff. You can put that one up in your office instead of the CEOs. So that's 8.2. Thank you very much, Mr. Devcich. 8.2. Then we move on to 8.3 deputations, and as we've just advised, I believe we have a deputation.
Amber.
You can put your microphone on, please.
Microphone on. Oh, sorry. Amber Balfour Cunningham from Northern. Good evening, presiding member, councillors and Shire staff. My name is Amber. I'm here to speak in support of the petition, part of the petition of electors regarding data centres. I'm also the contact for the petition. The petition asks council to consider greater transparency, public reporting and policy review in relation to data centre developments in Northern. For clarity, when I refer to a data centre, I'm using the ordinary meaning of the term. Merriam-Webster defines a data centre as a facility for housing computer systems and related equipment used for storage and processing of large amounts of data. In this context, data does not necessarily mean personal information, but it could. It refers to, more broadly, to digital information and computing workloads handled by servers, including storage, processing, and potentially cryptocurrency mining or similar server-based activities. Crypto mining involves computer systems processing digital information and calculations associated with blockchain networks. So while crypto mining is server-based computing activity, crypto mining is server-based computing activity involving the processing of digital data. I understand that the development at 239 Yilgarn was approved as a warehouse storage under the local planning framework. However, development assessment plan documents for another development on the same site refer to a crypto mining service centre. That's why the petition uses the broader public-facing term data centre. The concern is not only the planning label applied to the approval, but the actual nature, scale, servicing requirements and community impacts of this type of facility. The petition does not ask council to prejudge the issue. It asks council to provide the community with clear information and consider whether the current planning framework adequately deals with data centres, crypto mining service centres or similar intensive technology infrastructure. A key request is that council organise a public meeting process where community can, organise a public meeting or process where community can ask questions and receive answers. In my view, such a meeting should be open, balanced and informative. It should be not treated as a campaign meeting or for or against the development. It should be an opportunity for residents and electors to understand what has been approved, what should be considered, what infrastructure may be required, and how council intends to manage similar proposals. I do understand that that petition can't, because it's like a sort of more like a local one, and it's doing it under the standing orders. I can't ask for a meeting of electors, so anything that sort of meets this is fine. Just a general, more non-biased thing. Where hopefully we can get some answers about things. I also wish to make a statement about how the petition signatures were collected. In the interest of transparency, signatures were collected in good faith by myself and a small number of helpful community members. I'd like to thank those people, particularly those in the audience. Some signatures were collected by individuals in Northam or at their workplaces. I collected signatures mostly through door knocking, by being available at local businesses where electors could meet me, and by keeping the petition with me when walking in town so electors who recognise me could ask to sign it. At first, collecting the name, address, signature and date from each elector sounds simple. In practice, like many public processes, it was a lot more complicated. Some people use first initial and surname, some handwriting is difficult to decipher, some people use a ditto mark for the date or address, some is a PO box, some wrote the wrong mark. I understand these entries will need to be checked and not all may qualify as valid signatures. For volunteers who offered to help collect signatures, I provided a reference copy of the petition, cover page, signature sheets and important information for the petitioner's page, which is required, which it says the petitioner should read on each page. That information stated that signatories needed to be electors and included information about when the petition should be submitted. I also explained the requirements as I understood them under the Shire standing orders and provided contact details in case there were questions. However, I understand that some signature sheets may be passed between volunteers and other community members. As a result, I cannot personally confirm every person who's signed as an elector. When I received petition sheets back, I asked whether there was anything I need to be aware of, but I was made aware that there were some people who were visiting Perth had signed using a friend's Northam address, and that another page did not meet the petition template requirements. I've not submitted those sheets. But I've got some of these documents that I mentioned, like the reference cover page and the important information for electors and the sheets I'm not submitting and a couple other things in this if you guys want it. Otherwise I can send it by email later. Okay. I'm providing this explanation so the petition can be assessed properly and transparently, and there's no suggestion I'm seeking to misrepresent the number of eligible electors. In preparing this petition, I sought advice from the Shire. On the 2nd of June, I went to the office to ask questions about the petition template and privacy of signatories. I wanted to make sure the petition was done correctly, and so that the time taken by electors to sign would be worthwhile. I've provided with the Shire petition template and the template for additional sheets. Only recently, I was aware that about the electors' meetings and things, but yeah, anyway. I was provided with the Shire's blah, blah, blah. I also we discussed how much address information to be required, and I understood that information covered by privacy considerations such as signatures and addresses would be redacted from public versions. I also briefly considered using an online petition because it would be easier for people with children, work commitments or limited flexibility. I set up an open petitions and asked electors to test it, but I went back to the Shire, asked the government's team about the requirements and valid signatures. I didn't think it would meet it. I didn't think there was any time to do an online petition, so those people just ended up signing on the hard copy. I was informed that a previous online petition had a large number of signatures from outside Northern and across Australia and was found not to be valid. I was also told, this is by the Shire government team, I was also told that having some signatures from non-electors does not necessarily invalidate the petition, but those signatures would be crossed out and not counted. After receiving further information from the Shire government team on 9 June, I did not believe I could prepare a valid online petition. I therefore chose not to rely on an online petition. I do not endorse or rely on any online petition website for this petition. Some people who had tested blah, they signed the hard copy. Yep, the petition before council is therefore a hard copy petition using the Shires petition or a modified version of the Shires petition template with signatures submitted in good faith for verification by the Shire. Okay, last little section. The reason this petition matters is that data centres and crypto mining service facilities can involve issues beyond a conventional warehouse, including electricity demand, noise, heat, cooling, servicing infrastructure, land use classification, emergency management, cumulative impact of facilities proposed in the future. The community is not asking for speculation because I've heard a lot. I've heard people say it's not a data centre, it's a prison. I've heard someone say, I've looked into it and I know who's behind it. It's Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and Elon Musk. And yeah, and all kinds of theories. So I don't think this is good for our community, just all the speculation. We have a nearby person, my understanding is someone who lives nearby wanting to know more as well. The community is not asking council to be anti-development, it's asking council to make sure the development is properly understood, transparently assessed and supported by an appropriate planning framework. I respectfully ask council to receive the petition, assess the signatures fairly and take the petition seriously as a request from electors for transparency, public information and proper policy consideration. Also, as far as I'm aware, no one has declared conflict of interest on voting on, like, if the petition should be accepted, but I do understand that people have been corresponding with Mia Davies, who is a representative of the site, and they have been sent, like, things like media multiple number of people who are possibly all councillors or staff, I'm not sure, have received media statements from Mia Davies prior to publication in newsletters or in newspapers. So please make sure, please make sure any conflicts of interest are declared. And in terms of statistics, I've submitted 24 pages. There's a number of signatures of electors, but most importantly to me is that there's signatories of people who live very nearby on Gilgun Ave. And that's it. Thank you so much. I just want a copy. You can have this if you want. Sorry, it's got some of it is my notes. Page 1, 2.
And is there any more members of the public who would like to make a deputation?
And did you want the attachments, like those documents?
Good after the meeting.
Yeah, after the meeting, no worries.
Was there anyone else? It's the last chance for the public to participate. No, so then we go to page 17, applications for leave of absence. That is nil. Item number 10 is confirmation of minutes, still on page 17. There's a recommendation that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held Wednesday the 27th of May. I saw Councillor Mencheli first, then Councillor Hughes. Councillor Mencheli moved, Councillor Hughes seconded. Anyone going to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 6-0, that's carried. Then we go to page 18, which is item 10.2, notes from the council forum meeting held 10th of June 2026. This is a new item. I just want to see if there's any queries or clarifications from the notes from last week's forum meeting. If not, the recommendation is there. Councillor Bigland is moving, Councillor Hughes is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by show of hands? That's 6-0, that's carried. We now go to page 48. So item number 11 is items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery. There's no items that I'm aware of, so we'll continue on. Item number 12 is reports of committee meetings. 12.1 is Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting held on 19th of May 2026. Firstly, we've got the receipt of the minutes. Councillor Mencheli is moving. Councillor Ryan is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by show of hands? That's 6-0, that's carried. And then we've got the adoption of the recommendations over page 48, 49. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Gierak is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 6-0, that's carried. We go to page 50. Item 13 is officer reports. 13.1 is the CEO's office. Before I get into this, I've just got a declaration of interest to make. 13.1.1 Major Review Council Plan 2026-2036. As Councillor Bigland has declared impartiality in this item, Councillor Bigland declares that it will be considered, the matter will be considered on its merit and will vote accordingly. Now, there is a recommendation on page 57. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Girak is seconding. Before I go ahead, I'm aware that Councillor Bigland wants to move an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Oops. Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's the same as what I'm going to read here, so I can't read that. Sorry. That the following words be added after 1, adopts the Shire of Northam Council Plan 2026-36 as provided in attachment 13.1.2 as the Shire's integrated strategic community plan and corporate business plan for the district in accordance with the section 5.56 of the Local Government Act 1995 and regulations 19C and 19DA of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, subject to the following amendment. A, that item 7.2.6 be amended to read, finalise delivery of the Wundowie Community Hub and Water Park feasibility study and retain the Wundowie Community Hub as a strategic priority with future planning informed by the outcomes of the study. And B, that item 7.2.6 be identified as additional funding to be determined, close bracket, for 26-27, 27-28, 2028-29 and 2029-30. Thank you.
Before I proceed, I need to have a second for that. Councillor Mencheli. So we have Councillor Bigland, Councillor Mencheli. What I will do, just seek any clarification, Councillor, before I ask for any debate, if that's all right. See, just looking at Councillor's faces, they might want to ask questions. Or no?
Got one. What is the funding at this stage?
So as it stands at the moment, I think there's $10,000 that's carried forward to finalise the needs and feasibility study. We haven't allocated further funding within the council plan itself, although there is funding, I believe, for elements within the long-term financial plan. And that is because the next step would actually be a business case, but that's dependent on the outcome of the needs and feasibility study. Because we need to understand the community needs that have been identified and also the feasibility, and that's particularly important to inform funding.
So further questions or clarifications? Councillor Girak?
I don't know if questions, but how would that impact the long-term financial plan financially? Is there any estimate?
No, at this stage, no, because it depends what the needs and feasibility study identifies in terms of what the requirements for a hub and the potential water park would be. So we don't know that at this point in time. So normally the process would be you do a needs and feasibility study, a business case, concept plans, and then you start firming up what the costs would be for the development.
So just want the councillors to be aware of what the proposed amendment is. No, I just want to make sure.
Have another reading because it's really hard.
That makes sense, Councillor Girak. Are you just looking online, eh?
No, I'm just looking up the council plan.
Question I might ask what councillor Burex looking for that. Does that affect any of our processes as we're going through now? That might be what councillor Burex is thinking. We've got to do a feasibility study and we potentially adopting a plan. It depends on council now. Is it the same sort of process? Oh, well, because the way I understood it was there's going to be a feasibility plan and that would come back to council. So just is this just firming up the potential to have accepted the plan? Is this just making sure the one dairy hub, for want of a better phrase, is included in the council plan?
So at this point in time, it is in the council plan, but the intention would be, if the needs and feasibility study comes back, the next process would be to develop a business case, which there isn't funding for at the moment, but it is something that either could be considered as part of the budget review for 26-27 or considered for 27-28. But I guess that is dependent. So the process normally flows that you would do the needs and feasibility business case and concept plans, but it is dependent on what the needs and feasibility comes back at in terms of what is required for the future.
Thank you. Should I give you enough time to ask another question? If you want.
No, it's something, yeah,
Okay.
I kind of understand. So
So-
it's really just the continuity, what council is willing to achieve.
Only someone speaks against it, probably. So is anyone likely to speak against council Bigness? Councillor Wright. Okay. So next straight by councillor Bigness.
Thank you, Mr. President. The reasons for my recommendation is that the Wundowie Community Hub has been identified in previous council plans as far back as 1st of July 2022 to 2032 and even earlier, and remains a long-standing objective and has been considered by the council members through the strategic planning process. This amendment retains the project as a strategic priority while the feasibility study is completed and future funding and deliveries are considered.
Thank you. Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just wondering whether or not Greg Lyons speaking against it purely as solid debate is that the current draft in the strategic plan keeps it nice and simple and allows for a little bit more flexibility in terms of what the outcome of the plan is. I mean, this does tie us in, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I just was wondering whether or not that reduces the flexibility of us being able to pivot exactly what the community wants and ties us in and allows us putting the Shire in a position where it's very rigid in terms of what we've actually voted this in. That's my only concern. Other than that,
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Councillor Mendel.
Yes, Mr. President, fellow councillors. The whole object of this amendment was to make sure that this particular point in the plan is retained front and centre, and we don't want a situation where it falls off the radar. So there's a lot of work to be done. Clearly, there's got to be a feasibility study done and a whole lot of other stuff that will follow on, and we'll be privy to that as the situation arises. So it's just making sure that it is retained on the radar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'd like, sorry, I was just about to say, I'd like councillors around the table to vote for this amendment, please.
Sorry for cutting you off, councillor. Any further speakers against? Any further speakers for? Councillor Guerra.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, my understanding is that this amendment just ensure the continuity of this project, and Swan there is a growing community, and it definitely needs the facilities outlined here as were discussed in previous meetings. I support the amendment of the motion.
Thank you. Any further speakers against? I'll just flesh it out because there's only a few people. Any further speakers for? Councillor Biggin, you have the right of reply.
Thanks, Mr. President. I think I've said it, and I'd like the councillors around the table to vote for the amendment because it's very important to the Wandera community. Thank you.
Okay, so everyone's aware that we voted for the amendment to the standard motion. So all those in favour of the amendment by show of hands, that's 6-0. That becomes the standard motion, which is Councillor Ryan's motion. So is anyone going to speak against the motion as it stands? I'm looking at Councillor, what's your motion, Councillor Ryan? So is anyone going to speak against the now substantive motion? If not, I'll put that to the vote. So all those in favour by show of hands, that's 6-0, that's carried. Thank you for your input on that one. We now go to page 128. So 13.1.2, Northern Airfield Management Agreement. Just right, 13.1, only got one. So as Councillor Gierak has declared, as Councillor Gierak and Councillor Hughes have declared an impartiality interest in this item, both councillors declare that they will consider the matter on its merit and vote accordingly. So we have that one there, and the recommendations on page 134. So Councillor Menchel is moving, Councillor Hughes is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 6-0, that's carried. Then we go to page 151. So 13.1.3, Reserve 43257, Garrigan Close, Northern. Just 1, 2, 2. So as councillors Antonio, President Antonio, councillors Mencheli, councillors Mencheli, Biglan and Gierak have all declared impartiality in this item. All councillors declare that they will consider the matter on its merit and vote accordingly. The recommendations on page 154. Councillor Gierak is moving, Councillor Hughes is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 6-0, that's carried. We go to page 165. This is item 13.1.4, proposed lease of Northern Airfield hangar sites 42 to 47. There's a recommendation on page 173. Councillor Ryan is moving, Councillor Mencheli is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 6-0, that's carried. Go to page 180. So 13.2 is engineering services, that is nil. 13.3 is development and community services, that is nil. 13.4 is corporate services. We have page 180, so we'll just go down, page down. We have the first item is 13.4.1, advertising 2026-27 differential rates. Recommendations on page 186. Councillor Ryan moved, Councillor Gierak seconded. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 6-0, that's carried. 5 required, so that's good. And we go to page 189. So 13.4.2, accounts and statements of accounts May 2026. Recommendations on page 192. Councillor Menchel is moving, Councillor Gierak is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. 6-0, that's carried. So we go to page 241. 13.4.3, financial statements for the period ending 31st of May 2026. Councillor Ryan has moved the recommendation on page 244. Councillor Hughes has seconded it. I didn't see Councillor Hughes. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 6-0. That's carried. That's 5.5. 6 is good enough. Then we go to page 265. So item 14 is matter behind closed doors. So I just need a move in a second to move behind closed doors. Saw Councillor Mancelli, then Councillor Bigland, the other two I saw. That's procedural, put straight to the vote. All those in favour? That's 6-0, that's carried. Mr Dempsey. Do you want me to read it? Yeah, please. Well, I'll get it. Recording again, Alicia? Yep, so the item 14.1, application under CP.2.9, that's hardship. The recommendation was that Council 1 approves the payment arrangement of $100 per fortnight for the current owner of A1174 until 30 June 2027. That was carried. So we go back to our substantive. We've got item 15, motions of which previous notice has been given is nil. Item 16, urgent business approved by decision is nil. Item 17, declaration of closure is made at 6:27 p.m. Thank you, councillors, for your input and debate and questions, and thank you, officers, for professional reports, winning awards and